it's senior night. This is my last game in this stadium. I'm going crazy. They going crazy. Like, you know what I mean? And Kenny, the way, like, I'll never forget the look on his face. He looked at me and then he looked at my legs and he said, sit down, I'll be right back. And he came back with our team doctor. He placed his left hand underneath my knee and he placed his right hand just slightly lower on like the front of my tibia, the middle of my tibia. And he started moving it this way.
Yeah.
And it clicked loud as shit and it hurt. I never felt a pain like that before.
Yeah.
And I jumped. I said, what the fuck are you doing? And he said, hey, you hear that clicking sound? I said, yeah. He said, son, that's your bones. You're not going back here.
So we're going to start this from the beginning of your journey. So for me, that journey began at 5 years old, and that journey was like with baseball and everything. Mm-hmm. So explain to me like where the first part of you came about and what was driving you and like how it all started. Like what's like your oldest memory of it all?
I'm the youngest of four. I have like 3 older brothers. Come from a football family. Well, my uncle played professionally. My dad played professionally. One of my brothers played professionally for 10 years. So it's like, it's high expectations on that side.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I remember being like 6 years old and we were in this area of Dallas, this suburb called Arlington. Mm-hmm. It's these hills. It's a lot of hills in Arlington. And I remember our dad waking us up on some like King Richard type shit. And like middle of the summer, and he woke us up and like he's like 5 a.m. and sun is not even up yet. And he's behind us in his truck with the lights on. And we're just jogging forever.
So like all those movies.
Yeah, it was like it was like this weird movie scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing is that like I'm 6 and didn't sign up for this. I don't even know what we doing. Like it's just I'm out there with my brothers. And,
so was that like was football almost because everyone that did it or did it before you was that kind of like expected of you?
100%.
So
100%.
Was that idea of playing football? Do you think that came from you or just from your family?
My family was like, you're going to play football and we're going to find out for a while how that shakes out. And if that doesn't work, then it's like, okay, well, what else do you like to do with your life?
Do you still get days where like you're like, man, I gotta go to the gym, but you don't want to?
Oh, bro.
Like, what do you do in those times? Like, I
So-
feel like a lot of people can relate to that.
So check this. Like for me, I have like no excuse because both of my offices have full gyms outside of
Right.
them. Like, I mean, full like cold tubs, saunas, physical therapists, IVs, yoga, Pilates, the actual gym, the weights. So it's like I'm in the office and I feel like that. I'm not motivated all the time. Number one thing that I am is like super honest with myself. I don't give myself excuses. I don't bullshit myself. I know the difference between I should probably get in the sauna, stretch, roll out a little bit, and call it, versus I'm being a little bitch right now. We're gonna get some good work in here.
Hell yeah. You got the kettlebell set up already?
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
And like, what type of player were you? Like, were you like the guy in the locker room that was like, loud or like very cocky or like what was your the way that you played the game? Like, what made you you?
So I'll say this. I'll back it up. So when I went to A-Leaf Elsik, and we felt like we were representing our side.
Okay.
So like it's a different thing. I tell people this too. Like it's a different thing in a community like that because the sports teams represent the areas that we grow up in. Okay. So it's a different kind of attachment to it. Like, you know what I mean? As to where in college and even in the leagues, like you're recruited solely based off of potential and production.
You don't feel like they represent you.
No. It starts to become more of a business transaction, right? This was family, at Elsick. This was family. So like my leadership style or the way that I even approached the game was like we going to war with my brothers. Like we would go to like play a Katy High School, and you could feel us become more intense on the bus as we would. It's a different kind of dislike.
Yeah.
It's like we get off the bus feeling like, yo, these look how they living out here.
Yeah.
Look how they forgot about us
Yeah.
out there. Like you
Yeah.
know, like it's
Yeah.
a different kind of
Understand that.
situation. So I was 15 actually when I started getting like my full ride scholarships. I chose UT, and when I got there, it was like the first time. So even in my environment, everybody looked like me or you.
Right.
Everybody. Every single person. So when I got to UT, it was a culture shock because now not many people look like me and you.
Right.
So like
Yeah.
just learning how to deal with that. So for me, the locker room was a little weird at first because like it's not just like people that relate to they got different motivations than me.
Right. The people from all kinds
They
of
got
like,
much
backgrounds.
different. They got much different motivations than me, with much different, like, former lifestyles and et cetera. Like,
Yeah.
they got different experiences. It was the first time I had got outside of my bubble,
Right.
which is probably like the best thing that could have happened to me. But I am like that passionate, like care too deeply, emotional leader. Like I would be riding high, like an emotional high going into the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because not everybody can work out the same
No, they
way.
can't.
So,
So our process is like, before they get to me, they start with our medical team,
okay.
and they kind of give us, we meet with them once a week to figure out where everybody's at.
I see.
And then we sit down individually with each player and map out what this phase of the offseason looks like
Okay.
based off of their goals, what they want to accomplish, what medical says,
Yeah.
and then how we're gonna reverse engineer that.
Right. So that's a complete like specialized approach.
I was at UT for 3 months when I got called into that office with the big man, Mac Brown, and the athletic director, and my position coach, and the strength coach, and the head of the academic department. And they said, hey, this is not working out.
Oof.
Yeah, I was only there for 3 months.
You had that feeling like that, it just dropped.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. They was just like, yeah, you. The thing is, I already had, one of my brothers went to UT, and he was an All-American there. And when I got there, my freshman year is when he had entered the draft for his rookie year. So I was familiar with kind of some of the staff already before I got there. And I'll never forget Mac Brown and them saying like, your mother said that you were a lot different than your brother, but I didn't know it was like this. Yeah. I'm like 18 hearing this. And
What'd that feel like?
Not the best.
Yeah.
But he wasn't lying.
Yeah.
You got this kid that's pretty arrogant, with this inner city mindset that just doesn't apply to the current environment.
So what they call you in? Like your grades are bad, or
First class I ever took at the University of Texas, I failed with an actual 0. Yeah, the very first class.
You don't
I
even
ever
get
took.
points for writing your name?
Oh man, they should have gave me some points for that. But I mean, I'm proud to say that I did. By the time I graduated, I ended up on the academic athletic honor roll, so
Nice.
the AV honor roll. So
Yeah.
that worked out. But yeah, no man, it was tough. I got a rough start.
Yeah, it
I
sounds
got a
like
rough
it.
start just simply because the environment was so different. And if I'm being honest, when I look back on it, I was intimidated. So my way to handle an intimidating environment is to just pull closer within myself.
Right.
And I know
Protect
that my
yourself.
daughter does it too.
Yeah.
But like pull closer within myself. So like I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't interact with even like the recruiting class that I was with. I'll be on this. Let's let you know how long ago this was. I would be on like MySpace, talking to the homies back home on my laptop, and I'm like, yo, it's different out here. Like, I'm coming home. They're like, what you mean? I'm like, man, I'm about to transfer. I'm going to U of H. Like, this is not what's up at all. And Here come my mom once again saving the day. You know, she convinced me to stick it out.
To not quit.
Yeah, to stick it out, and that's
Yeah.
what it came down to. She said, "No, when you were doing your recruiting, you could have went anywhere you wanted to go, but you started something.
Right.
And what I tell you, when we start something, we finish it. So if you don't want to be at UT, you should figure out how to graduate in a year, and then we'll go somewhere else."
You'll be resting. Okay. I'm gonna go 30 seconds for 130 meters, 140 meters. Then it's gonna say R. And when it says R, I'm going right into my kettlebell hold.
Okay.
While I'm resting right there.
Okay.
All right. Power, generate power. Generate power. 3, 2, right to it. Right to it, let's get it. Yeah. The stronger you are, the more potential you have to be powerful.
Right.
Being strong does not make you powerful.
Yeah.
You have to train with load fast to now become powerful.
Right.
Which then translates into different angles and planes for us to become explosive.
Right.
And explosiveness is what athletes need.
Yeah.
So like you gotta go through these things
Yeah.
to get to explosiveness.
You're doing well. You're starting to feel like, all right, I'm about to go to the NFL after this, right? Mm-hmm. So you're probably sitting there like, man, I can't wait to buy this
Oh.
car. I can't wait to do this, man. Ooh, what's team am I gonna go to? Just start planning out
Every
your life
night,
already, right?
Every night, every single night, I would lay in my bed and count how I was already spending my money. Man, it's funny. You ever heard that saying when we make plans and then God laughs?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So that's kind of what happened for me.
So like when you got hurt, you were in the training room thinking like, oh man, like this sucks,
Yeah.
but like I'm gonna come back.
So the crazy part is that like so, I get hit. It snaps. I flip over the guy and land in the end zone, and I'm running like the collision and the momentum of the speed. It happened so fast that I rolled up in the end zone back onto my feet. Right.
Oh, okay.
And this, so you know, adrenaline is real. I kind of like limp jog off to the sideline, celebrate with my teammates, and then I'm like, damn, my leg throbbing, and I sit down on the bench and I tell him, hey, go get Kenny. He's a trainer, Kenny Boyd, and Kenny walks over, and I'm standing back up. I said, I need y'all to take my ankle up, man. My ankle hurt. I just knew my ankle hurt.
Right.
I didn't even know
It was
the
torn
bone
up.
was, I just knew my ankle hurt. So I need y'all to tape up my ankle, bro. My ankle hurt. I'm getting ready to go back in because our defense had just caught an interception.
Okay.
So
Didn't give you a break.
I scored. We kicked the ball off. They ran it out. It was going like 3 and out. Then our defense had just caught an interception. So I'm getting ready to go back on the field. In my mind, I'm about to go score again.
Right.
Like it's 100,000 people in the stands. They going crazy.
Was that at Texas?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's senior night. This is my last game in this stadium. I'm going crazy. They going crazy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Kenny, the way, like, I'll never forget the look on his face. He looked at me and then he looked at my legs and he said, sit down. I'll be right back. And he came back with our team doctor. He placed his left hand underneath my knee and he placed his right hand just slightly lower on like the front of my tibia, the middle of my tibia. And he started moving it this
Oh,
way.
yeah.
And it clicked loud as shit and it hurt. I never felt a pain like that before.
Yeah.
And I jumped. I said, what the fuck are you doing? And he said, hey, you hear that clicking sound? I said, yeah. He said, son, that's your bones. You're not going back in. And like immediately I just felt this pain rush up my leg,
Yeah.
right? And like all of a sudden like my leg started shaking and I can't even move it no more. So they took off my cleat, my ankle just ballooned, and that was the last time I was in the arena. I'm fine. I'm really fine. Like my adrenaline's still high.
Right.
And I'm fine. And I got to the back room and about 10 minutes later, my mom walks in. And I just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why seeing her like did it.
Yeah.
But she walked in and like I broke down. And then I went through that whole thing and then I was like apologizing to her more than anything. She was like, you good. You strong. Let it out. Let this shit out. Like she kicked all the doctors out. She said, give him a second. She said, let it out. Let all that shit out. You've been holding that for a long time.
Yeah.
And she's like, we dealing with something. We'll get over this.
Right.
You're gonna be straight.
Whew.
That woman is different, man. That
Man,
woman's different.
That gave me chills, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
that
like
woman's different.
that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think maybe this is just me like thinking, but like I think maybe when you saw her, you were like, you maybe kind of had something in you that was like, this may be it.
Yeah, I
You know?
felt like I didn't know because I wasn't a doctor, but I just knew.
You felt it.
Yeah,
And then with that, you're like, well, there's like my plan.
Yeah.
To getting us out and to like
Yeah.
helping this situation.
And if I'm being super transparent, we were a little decent at this time. Like I said, my brother was on year 4 at this
Right.
time. So, but like my plan.
Your plan.
To like.
And in your world, that's what matters the most.
Exactly.
Your plan, right?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like, is she still struggling? Like he's sending enough for her to, you know what I mean? But in my the world I told you that I was creating in my head every
Yeah,
night,
yeah.
like she wasn't working. She was traveling. She was, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was like, I felt like I got right up to that finish line.
Yeah.
And then like failed.
You think about all the process that you went to get there.
Yeah.
And you're like, what was all that for?
Yeah.
To just like, that's it?
No, I mean, it feels like a complete, like I've wasted my
Yeah, at
life.
that moment, it felt like that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I look at it as like one of the fundamental moments that created a resilience in me that carried on for the next, 11, 12 years.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, it was needed.
Pause right there for a second. Feel it. There it is. When we're tired. Exactly. That's who we are. Yep. That's who we are.
The most important moments in the game are usually when you're tired. as hell.
100%. We all start here,
Yep.
and then we all decline.
Yep.
And the rate of decline and the rate of sharpness is going to determine ninth inning,
Exactly.
fourth quarter, who won or lost.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's
Yep.
how this works.
It seems like time after time in your life that you somehow, there's that big flame and you're like, no, I'm going to divert it this way and allow it to propel me to where I want to go. So when did you start formulating a plan to get to where you are now? Like what?
So there was a step in between. I actually did orthopedic medical device sales. I studied kinesiology and anatomy at UT. And so
How much of that had to do with what happened?
a big piece,
Right.
big piece. But honestly, before that, I was studying it because I wasn't interested in anything in school.
Yeah.
Like I was not.
School was
interested
just a
in- it was-
vehicle
it was,
for
It was a
NFL.
stair step.
Yeah.
I was not interested in anything. So when it became time to pick a major, I was like, and man, her name was Jean Bryant. God bless her soul, amazing lady. And I sat down with her and we went through almost every major that UT offers, right? And I landed in kines, and literally I studied it with the intent to get an advantage on my opponents because I knew how to take care of myself.
Right, okay.
Like that was
Yeah.
the only reason I even picked the major. And like I said, you make plans, God laughs. Like who knew? Like you fast forward, not only is this degree helpful, but I need it, right, to
Right.
get into the field that I got into.
Collective. Yeah. How did that get started, man? I mean, I've looked at
Yeah.
images on online and videos and stuff. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I love what you're doing there. I definitely want to check it out.
I tell you, you're more than welcome to. Honestly, I plan to put one out here too. So,
Ooh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I tell people like collective is new, but I'm not. Right? I've been in this for 10. We opened the doors March 1, 2022, for location 1, and within 11 months, we've acquired a medical practice. We've partnered with the San Antonio Spurs. We've opened facility number 2, and we currently host the largest NFL-related off-season event not directly sponsored by the NFL.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah, it's been a hell of a year.
And you built that.
Yeah, not by myself. I will not make it look like I built it by myself. I got a dope
You got like
team.
70% of it.
I got a
at
dope
least.
team. I got a dope team. I met my original co-founder, Devin. He was over strategic acquisition for Lifetime. So when
Okay.
I was pinning out the programming, Lifetime's HQ in Minneapolis, they were like, "Hey, do you need an office or anything?" And in an attempt to not be tied down to the space. I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't need an office. Just give me somewhere where I can go to work.
Right.
And Devin, I met him. He was in their downtown Austin location and was like, hey, you can use the other end of my desk. And I was like, perfect, appreciate it. And you spend that much time with somebody in a close quarter, you start talking.
Right.
And eventually, man, we landed on this idea of like, what if we built this thing that was this private club where we could connect the gap between established business people and the new money that is, professional athletes, et cetera, et cetera. Because when I look at athletes, I'm like, if you can imagine, like we hold them on this pedestal, they're really young people trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
If you can imagine, there's no other field other than like professional sports where there's a draft that's basically like a shit ton of lottery winners
Yeah.
that are now in this field with like just immediate money. Every other field prepares you for the wealth. Sports is the only one where it's just dropped on you.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'm like, of course, man, you got like 23-year-old lottery winners across the board. And now you're saying everybody make great decisions. Well, the way they handle it is the way they handle it. Like,
And it's
you know
tough
what
too
I mean?
because like you're special
Yeah.
your whole life.
Yeah.
Or you're one of the best. If you're going to make it to the NFL or any big league, you're the best at what you've been doing since you were young.
Exactly.
So you get the attention, and then you get the money with
Exactly.
that.
You just don't have the time to mature in that specific vertical.
Right.
Which is like wealth management. Like every other field kind of prepares you for it as you get it. It was like, okay, how do we connect these dots, right? And the original thought was, in order for us to do so, we have to control the door. Because what happens is you get these young people that have earned their way into this wealth, and then everybody else in that field. Think about everything around the organization.
Yeah.
All of those people are older.
Right.
Every single one of them.
Yep.
Everybody in the front office. Nobody there is your age. So it's like there's this organic, natural disconnect. And then because of the disconnect, there's a lack of trust. And then even it's hard to distinguish the real from the fake,
Yep.
the ill intent from the good intentions.
Yep.
Like it's hard to distinguish it all, and you're 23 just figuring it out.
Yep.
With a lot of advice from a lot of different people. So the point of Collective originally was to be that space that could do the vetting for everybody.
Right.
To help kind of bridge the gap, but in a way that made sense because we didn't take the athlete and say, come sit in the boardroom. We kept them in their natural, organic space, which is the gym.
Right.
And then we took the business person and said, hey, take off the expensive suit, come throw your gym clothes on, and let me introduce you to somebody. And like we'd seen like this, man, it's been cool to see the community grow the way that it's grown because now it's grown and it's snowballed into much more than just that thought. And now you see like these thought leaders and these high performers from multitude of different verticals all coming together and finding value in this offering. And it makes the offering more valuable.
Last set, bet set. Here we go.
Like, how do you know that they had enough, or like they can?
They
do
got
some
more in them.
Yeah.
That comes with time.
Okay.
Time working together.
Right.
So I don't know in the beginning. When I'm very first working with a new guy, it's so conversational. I'm listening. And I'm listening not just with my ears, I'm listening with my eyes too, right? What is he saying versus what I'm seeing? What did the doc say before we got involved in this? Like, what did I see when I checked out his film?
Right.
Like, I'm listening with more than just my ears, but I'm listening. I'm taking feedback.
Yeah.
I'm taking as much feedback as I can. And then over time, I realize what his motivated factors are, when he pushes himself versus when he's ready to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
And then when he's reached his limit versus when he thought he reached his limit.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody tells you they're done, chances are they got a little bit more in there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
You only exit this game 3 ways. You get hurt and they call it wraps. You've had enough, you told them I'm done. They told you, hey, we don't think you're good enough anymore, and then that's it.
Yep.
Those are the 3 ways that you over with this thing.
Yep.
either way, the end's coming.
Right. And
So-
hopefully you live a longer life outside of that
Exactly.
than what you did when you're playing, because it's a small window.
Like, how old are you now?
I'm 36.
Lord says the same. You got 36 plus more to go.
Right. It's a long time. Yeah.
I hope, respectfully speaking, I hope in 36 years when we talk about you and talk to you, we're not just talking about baseball.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm telling these guys.
Yeah.
Like, you so much more. If your value and your contribution to society in this world is only what you've done on this field, then I think that you didn't really contribute much.
Yeah, man. Like I definitely don't want to be the baseball man.
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? Like I guess I got that realization halfway into my career or whatever, where I was like, man, like I'm more than just a baseball player.
Yeah.
Because once I got done with it, it kind of let me see that it was sort of restricting.
Yes.
That mindset is really restricting. Like
Yes.
all I do is think of baseball. All I do is think about
and
that's
the craziest part is if you don't check yourself, you actually start thinking that it's the most important thing in the world.
that is your life.
You actually start thinking that that's the world.
Yeah.
Sport is such a small thing. So I'm really trying my best and through the foundation and just different other ways to like help them push that narrative. Collective has definitely helped. The platform that it's given me and the rate of growth that it's been at has
Right.
been it's been an attention grabber. And so with that attention, now I get an opportunity to like push the message more,
Right.
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 And it's been cool with these guys. What's been really cool to see with these guys is that I've been their guy for like a long time. And like I said, I've been in this for 10 and probably have like really found success over the last 2.
Yeah.
And they're so happy for me. But then it went from, man, I'm happy for Jay to like, damn, Jay getting paid. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
now the natural intrigue is starting to happen and I get the opportunity to like talk business with these guys.
Right.
And I always do it in a way where I say trust but verify. So I'm going to give you some information. You already have a team of people that you have trusted. I want you to take this information and ask them about it. And after you ask them about it, then we can continue this conversation.
Right.
And 10 times out of 10, they come back. And now they're excited about it. They've gotten them to invest in different things.
Yeah.
I've gotten them to like, diversify their portfolio a little bit, get involved with things that are outside of what they're already interested in and know. And for me, that's a fulfilling life.
Yeah.
Like that's how I'm gonna push my kids.
Right.
Like that's a fulfilling life.
Yeah.
It's where like you're not putting a limit on who you are and what you're doing.